Yeah. Okay. I think we still have 1 more minute to go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vijayji. Aham yoga festivalam participatum ichhati.
That's amazing.
Aham cricketam creedatum ichhati.
That's amazing. Ichhami. Very nice.
Dhanyavadah. Namo namaha.
Namo Namah.
Namo Namaha. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another enlightening session of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Over to you, Nitinji. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Sandhya. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and excited to be back for the weekly session. We're going to have a short week this time around because of the yoga festival, but we'll make the most of today and tomorrow, and then we're going to resume again. So good morning, good evening again, everyone. Let me share my screen and we will get started with our opening prayers. So welcome again. Let me share my screen. All right, able to see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, we'll get started with invoking the blessings from Guru and God, and then we'll get started with today's shloka. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening again, all of you. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Today we are going to discuss a shloka where Lord Krishna is going to tell us how this world is created in dualities. There are dualities. There is yin and there is yang in pretty much everything, as we will look through, as we go through the shloka. And there's a reason for that as well. And then we'll watch a very powerful video as well from Swamiji, so that that concept goes a little deeper. So let's get started with the shloka and get the discussion going. Like always, I'm going to recite it and then you're welcome to follow. It's a bit of a tongue twister, so those of you who've practiced it, please go ahead and do that. Yadrichalabha santushto Dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhavasiddhaucha kritvapi na nibadhyate. All right. Do we have any volunteers who want to go?
Yeah. Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Shri Ramya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
Radhe.
Yadchabhlabha santushto.
I didn't hear that, Shri Ramya ji. What did you say?
Yadrichalabha santushto. Dvapatito vimatsaraha. Samasiddhavasiddhau cha. Kritvapi na nibhatyate.
Very nice. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Dinesh.
Radhe Radhe. Yachalabha santusto dvandava. It's called.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yachalabha santusto dvandvatito vimasaraha samasiddhavasiddhau cha कृत्वापि न निबध्यते.
Very nice. Shri Radhe Radhe.
आशुतोष जी राधे राधे।
Radhe
राधे
Radhe.
राधे। यदृच्छा लाभ संतुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समासिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते।
Wonderful. Very nice, Ashutoshi. Radhe Radhe.
वेंकट जी राधे राधे। या
राधे राधे श्याम जी, राधे राधे संध्या जी।
Radhe Radhe, Venkatji.
यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि निबध्यते।
Very nice, Venkatji. All right, we can see a few more hands. Let's take them and then we'll get started with the topic.
या रूपा जी राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe.
राधे राधे एवरीवन। यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीता विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते।
Wonderful, Rupaji. I can see maybe 2 or 3 more hands and then we'll get started.
श्याम जी राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe, Shyamji.
राधे राधे। यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते। राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe, Shyamji. Very nice. Okay, 2 more hands and 2 or 3 more hands and then we'll get started.
या राहुल जी राधे राधे।
Radhe
राधे
Radhe.
राधे जय श्री कृष्ण।
Hare Ram.
यद्र इच्छा लाभ संतुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धि सिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते। जय श्री
Very
कृष्ण।
nice, Rahul. Jai Mata Di. All right, last 2.
पायल जी राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe, Payalji.
राधे राधे।
Radhe Radhe.
यद्वच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्ध्वावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते।
Wonderful.
राधे
Very
राधे।
nice, Payalji. Radhe Radhe. All right. Last but not the least. Go ahead, Sandhya.
ओके राधे राधे। यदृच्छालाभ संतुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समसिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते।
Wonderful. Very nice, Sandhya. So great. Welcome back, everybody. So I was just checking the demographics of the participants, all along in these sessions, and they range from, kids from 7 years old all the way up to, people who are in 50s and 60s as well, which is pretty amazing. So we had our youngest participant who was 7-year-old. So we have student, and so it's a pretty good demographics. And like we see, Bhagavad Gita is not a manual that is supposed to be read in an old age, like everybody right back home at believe. Right, one of my uncles, I remember that when his father was departing, that is one of my memories of my young age. Not that I'm old, but yeah, when I was relatively more younger, that when he was about to depart, they brought in a cow, put in his hand, then they put Ganga water in his mouth, and they started reading the 18th Adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so I thought, okay, maybe these things, 3 things are very important in life. But our scriptures tell us it doesn't help. You have to do it as a lifetime practice and understand the principles, which are very practical. Whether you are a kid, you are a student, you are a householder, you are a professional, whichever profession you are in. These principles are timeless principles, which are very, very relevant and applicable to whichever walk of life you are in. Bhagavad Gita is not about making you sannyasi. Bhagavad Gita is telling us about the art or the science of work. How do you do your work? To the best of your ability by purifying your consciousness. And that's pretty much it. That's essentially what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So let's continue this shloka, a very important shloka like all the shlokas. So let's see what Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna in this one. He's saying yadricha, which comes of its own accord, labha, gain, santushta, contented, dvandva, duality, atita, surpassed, vimatsara, free from envy, sama, equipoised, siddhau, in success, asiddhau, failure, cha, and kritva, performing, api, even, na, never, nibadhyate, is bound. Short translation for the shloka goes like, content with whatever gain comes of its own accord, and free from envy, they are beyond the dualities of life. Being equipoised in success and failure, they are not bound by their actions even while performing all kind of activities. Now, two words that might resonate with you is success and failure. This is something which is part and parcel of life. Now, Bhagavad Gita, like I said, it's a manual for life, for ages of across that spectrum, whether you are a kid, you are a student, householder, professional, or you are enjoying your retirement. These timeless principles would actually help you see things in perspective. And when we talk about success and failure, that is what Lord Krishna is talking about. Very, very profound words he's saying. Let's look at it. We'll saw a short video as well, but let's get into a little bit of a theory behind this shloka, and then we'll get into that. Now, if you look at the world, right, day and night, there day and night, you see that yin and yang, as we say. The second one, as you see, is sweet and sour. Then you see hot and cold, rain and drought. There are dualities, as you can see. This is how the world has been created. Now, just like the two sides to a coin, there were two sides of a coin. God has created this world full of dualities. Okay, this is the very nature of this material world. It is created with dualities. You have one side, then you have the other side of it as well. Okay. Now, we can ask God once we become God realized, why did you do so? But the fact of the matter is that he has created the world in dualities. Maybe to make us appreciate. If you have never felt thirsty, would you ever have been able to enjoy water? Probably not. I don't know. If we have never felt the pang of hunger, would we be able to enjoy the rasgulla? Probably not as much. So this world is created in dualities. And the beauty of this whole thing is, see, on one hand, God is telling us to rise above the dualities. And on the other hand, we have to use these dualities to rise above dualities. Okay, it is a little counterintuitive concept. It's just like if there's a thorn which is stuck in your skin, how would you take that thorn out? You will take another thorn, use it, and take it out. And then, do you need that thorn? You don't need that. You can throw both of them away. So dualities is something you'll have to deal with. And you basically, with these dualities, within these dualities, you'll have to learn to rise above those, is what Lord Krishna is going to tell. So let's go a little deeper. Now, if you look at furthermore, you have happiness, which we all relate to. And then you have distress. That is the other side of it when it comes to emotions. Then you have victory that we taste. And then you have defeat on the other side as well. Similarly, you have fame. And then you can have infame as well. They say some people, they want to become famous, whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason. Becoming famous is the key, right? So it's important to become famous for good reasons. Now, what happens basically when you go through these emotions? Why is Lord Krishna talking about these dualities? That's a question. Okay, we have understood there are two sides of a coin. There are dualities, and they are like the part and parcels of our life. But what is Lord Krishna telling us here? So what he's saying is that, we've been talking about binding karma. Now, when you say equipoise, Lord Krishna has included the word equipoise. When you are equipoised, dealing with both sides of the coin, which is anyway going to come in our life. Nobody can claim to be victorious all the time. Nobody can claim to have everything favorably aligned to them all the times. Right? Even like, for example, this guy, Hiranyakashyap, he had everything under his control. Everything under his control. Even the planets would take his permission to take a position, like for that matter. Everything under his control. The entire universe was at his feet. That is how powerful it was. But what happens? Prahlad, his son, is not obedient. So this world is designed in such a way that all the subjects will be favorable to you is unlikely to happen. Right? We keep on complaining this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. But when we start understanding the deeper secrets of this creation, we will be able to accept it as it is. That is how it's meant to be. So what Lord Krishna is telling in this shloka is, when you deal with these things with equipoise, without getting carried away on either side, then what happens? Something interesting happens. Again, it is a non-binding karma. So when we choose to ride these emotions, it becomes a binding karma. However, when we practice equipoise around that with a proper understanding, then it becomes a non-binding karma at that point. Furthermore, it also draws God's grace, because now you are trying to align to the principle that has been taught by Lord Krishna. He spoke 5,000 years back, okay, for us. Actually, he spoke trillions of years back to the first sun god, Vivaswan, the same message. So the principle that he's illustrated, when you try to align to that, it draws God's grace automatically. So he says, simply tolerate it. Don't get too carried away in success. Don't get distressed by failure. Simply understand they are two sides of the coin, and this too shall pass. It is just a phase. Now let's go further and look at a beautiful video. But before I get into a video, let's look at another example. Another yin-yang kind of a situation. Now, in living in this world, like I said, nobody can hope to neutralize these dualities. Everybody has to face that, right? Even when Lord Ram took avatar, if you look at his avatar, in his divine pastimes, he was exiled for 14 years, just one day before he was supposed to be coronated as the king of Ayodhya. You know how did it happen? So his father, he goes to Vashisht and asks him that, I'm thinking of making Ram as the king. And his answer was, Shubhasya Shigaram. Why to delay something which is so auspicious, right? And he said, what is the right muhurat? He said, what muhurat? Time is always right to do the right thing. Lord Ram, right? Vashisht knew who is Lord Ram, and even for that matter, Dashrath. So he said, let's do it. He said, all right, let's do it the first thing in the morning. And there was a night in between. And that is where this whole drama unfolded, because of which we talk about Ramayana, by the way. Okay. So Lord Ram, although he had Raj Yoga, if he had gone to this guy, what do you call that, palmist, astrologist, he would have told that you have Raj Yoga. However, with a little bit of a tweak, after 14 years, okay, so he had exile as well. So point here being, even when God takes avatar, he tells you that this is part and parcel of your life. You have to deal with it, okay. Now, let's look at a video now, beautiful video, just to drive home the point a little more. Are you able to see my screen clearly?
Yeah, we can see your screen clearly, but your video is stuck, hanged, I guess.
Okay, I don't know, maybe it's not liking. So let me play my video again. Hopefully I'll be able to come back. Give me a sec. Are you able to see the video?
Yeah, I can see Swamiji's video, right?
I'm going to play that now, and let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear the audio.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Just a sec. Sorry about that. Some technical glitches. I'll get around those. Stop share again. Share screen again. Okay. not right. Sorry about that. Something is not right. It's a bit slow, so I'm trying to fix it. Please bear with me for a minute. My laptop has started, it's a bit hung up right now.
So maybe in the meanwhile, should I announce about the yoga festival?
Yeah, please go ahead and make the announcements. And in the meantime, while is my screen visible now?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, I'm going to play it and then we can do the announcements.
Sure, sure.
Okay, you go ahead and make the announcements. I think there's some problem going on, so I'll try to fix that in the meantime.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we have the International Yoga Festival coming up from June 15th to June 21st. It will be both offline and online. There are so many sessions lined up, different kinds of yoga, lectures by Swamiji and many other dignitaries. And we need help. So this is a seva opportunity as well for all of you. We need help with co-hosting. So there are many online sessions. I will share a link and please put your names for whichever time.
Eating what I'm going to eat should not be a worry of a child.
Yeah, for whichever time slots you can manage to do seva of co-hosting. So yeah, I'll just post that. And yeah, Swamiji is in Dallas. I think he is in Dallas, or he will be in Dallas soon, because he will be present physically at the temple during the yoga festival. So yeah, I think that is the first and main announcement, and I'll just post all the links, necessary links. And I would really strongly request all of you, if it is possible, please do your seva. And then we have the camp coming up, for which is going to be from June 22nd onwards, June 24th onwards, and I'll also post the necessary details about that. It looks like it's working now.
Yes, I would like to believe so. Let's do that. And did you post the link? I think we need, you can actually help us with the co-hosting. I think Sandhya would have posted the link for all the sessions that are going to happen during that yoga festival. And there is a beautiful line of speakers which is out there. So please do, if you have time, do sign up for that. We'd love to have you as a co-host during those. It's a great way to volunteer as well. Okay. And if you are still sitting on the fence thinking about the family camp, need some help, if you want to join, especially online, please fill out the feedback tracker. We'll figure out a way to assist you so that you can join. We really want you to join the family camp, and do write it and we can make it happen. All right. Anything else, Sandhya?
No, I think that's it. And some of the people are asking that they have never done co-hosting, so they need help with it. So please don't worry about it. It's pretty straightforward. So you just put your names for whatever time slots it works for you, and we are all there to help. So no issues.
Yeah, don't worry about that. You'll be just all right.
Yeah. That's it, I guess. These were the major announcements, and I've posted the link. So yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Are you able to hear the audio?
There was once a piece of wood. It went to a sculptor and said, "Can you make me into a beautiful murti?"
Okay.
A beautiful deity? The sculptor said, "I am ready. Are you ready?" The wood said, "Yes, I'm ready." Sculptor said, "All right." He took out his tools and started chiseling. The wood screamed, "What are you doing? It's so painful. Please stop." The sculptor said, "Listen, if you wish to become beautiful, you will have to tolerate pain." So, all right, I'm ready, but don't do so much. Ration it, only a little bit every day. Now he went on with his work, and the wood kept on complaining, "Enough for today, now I want to sleep, you do it tomorrow." It kept on complaining, the sculptor kept on doing his work, and finally that wood was transformed into a beautiful deity, and it got installed in the temple of God. So we are also like that uncut wood. If we wish to beautify ourselves from inside, we have to let God, the sculptor, do his work.
Bhagavad Gita sloka chanting is followed by translation and comment.
So Sri Krishna says, Yogast. Understand that this is a part of life, it will keep coming. Who is that person in this world who has only got success all life long? Who is that person who has only got failure all life long? God makes a wonderful mix for all of us. And nobody can hope to succeed always, even if you've put in your best efforts. Because there are 2 people who are putting 3 people, 4 people. Let's say there are 10 businesses in the industry, they are all putting their best efforts. There'll always be some successes, there'll be some failures. There was once a father. He got his 2 daughters married. One was married to a farmer, another was married to a brick maker. He had a brick making industry. So the father went first to the second daughter's house just to see how is my daughter. She said, "Father, it's very bad times, it just keeps raining and raining." So the brick kiln, it is made, it's outside. If it rains, you can't make bricks. Please pray to God that it doesn't rain so much. Father started thinking. From there, he went to the second daughter's house to stay for a few days, who was a farmer. So she said, "Father, I'm having great days. God gives so much of rain and we have great crop. Please pray to God to ensure that every year it rains like this." Now father said that she wants the rain not to come. She wants the rain to come. What should I pray? "Oh Lord, please do whatever you wish." So, in life, there will always be winners and losers. In our own life, each person will experience winning and losing. That's the dualities of life. When Lord Ram, he was to be crowned as the king of Ayodhya the next day. And overnight there was a transformation. Kaikeyi engineered it in such a way that King Dashrath asked him to go to the forest for 14 years. So that Lord Ram, who was to be the king, all of a sudden life took a turn. He removed his kingly ornaments and he went off wearing the forest dress along with Lakshman and Sita into the forest. Now they were sleeping there in the forest on the 3rd, 4th day when Guharaj, Nishad Raj Guha, the tribal king, he was sitting there and he was blaming Kaikeyi for Ram's misfortune. Lakshman said, "It's not Kaikeyi's fault. Kasyaikantam sukhamupagatam dukkhamekantato va nichairgacchatyuparichatasha chakrame nikramena. This is life. Just like the needle of the clock, it comes up, then it goes down, then it comes up, then it goes down. That's life. You have to be prepared for all kinds of things. If somebody is attached to success, then that person will be highly disconcerted when that person fails. So, success and failure will come in your life. How are you going to take it? Like the waves of the ocean, they will keep on flowing. So, Sri Krishna says, Arjun, become detached to both these imposters, success and failure. There's a poem called If. It used to be my favorite poem in school. And when I checked it recently on the internet, I found it's the second most famous popular poem in all of English literature's history. So it starts off like this: if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. Then goes on, then it says, if you can fill each minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And what's more, you'll be a man, my son. So Sri Krishna is saying exactly that. This success and failure, Arjun, treat them both as imposters. After all, what is the definition of success? We become wealthy, is that success? So Howard Hughes was the most successful person in the world of his time. But he could not control his own mind. He was a gross failure as a human being. So success, what is your parameter for deciding success? When he says treat these two imposters the same, he is telling Arjun to determine success by an inner parameter. How detached have you become? That is your success. How strong have you become in your ability to take happiness and distress in your stride? That is your real success. Shankaracharya says, what is real success? He said, Jagat jitam kena. Who shall be the most successful in the world? Manohiyena. That person who has succeeded in conquering his or her own mind. So that inner success is our goal, not the outer success. That's not what life is all about. We lay so much of emphasis to external success, we forget, are we succeeding internally or not? Somebody was telling me, Swamiji, my daughter is always thinking about how to be famous. That's external success. And you become totally famous and you find you're bankrupt from inside. Nothing there. And then life was a failure. And there is somebody else, nobody knows him, but he's totally successful from within. So ultimately, the external successes will all remain here. We will leave them all and go away. You may have become the richest person, the most famous person, the most powerful person, the most beautiful or handsome person, the most skillful. You will all leave it all here. The only thing that will accompany us is our inner wealth that we have accumulated, the inner success. So, When Sri Krishna is telling him that Arjun become indifferent to this success, he wants Arjun to accumulate the inner wealth. That inner wealth often requires failing in the world, often requires difficulties and tribulations. Just like gold, the goldsmith wants it to sparkle, he places it on the fire. That fire is not a bad thing for the gold. The fire burns away the impurities and makes it sparkle. Similarly, we have impurities in the heart: anger, lust, greed, hatred, envy, illusion. The difficulties that come in life are the fire. We have been put in the fire of this world so that we start sparkling like gold. So we have to have that willingness to accept that defeat will also come. Miseries, tribulations are a part of life. Don't complain, "Oh God, let there be no pain and misery in my life. Oh God, whatever is necessary to purify me, let it happen." Sri Aurobindo prays, "God, please don't spare me. Be severe upon me so that I get purified quickly and become like a great jewel in your treasure chest." So, this success and failure is a matter of perspective. Sri Krishna says, "Arjun, be detached from both of these. You focus upon your effort. Are you doing well? Are you putting in your best efforts? That's important." When I would come back as a child from games, my father would say, "Did you have a good game? Did you play well?" I would say, "You don't ask whether I won or lost." He would say, "That's not important. Whether you won or lost is not important. Did you play well?" So Sri Krishna is saying, "Arjun, you focus on your efforts, leave the results to God. Accept them both these imposters, as just the same."
Be sure to check out.
All right. Hope you love this powerful video from Swamiji, and it helps seeing success and failures in perspective. Now, how many of us can actually pray like Sri Aurobindo did, that God, please don't spare me? Our prayers usually go like Sukh Sampatti Gharave Kasht Mite Tanka, right? That is what we pray from God. We want to run away from miseries, and we think, if we believe in God, then things will be very comfortable with us in life. Everything will be just fine in our life, right? And that is what we truly desire from our heart. We want to run away from misery, and that the Lord Krishna is telling us these tribulations are part of life. Just imagine, who was Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu was son of Arjun, who was a Nar avatar. Then his mama was Krishna, who was Narayana himself. Then he got married. You know who was the Panditji in his marriage? Ved Vyas himself was the Panditji in his marriage. And still he met what was destined for him in that particular life. He was given only 16 years. Coming in from, he was moon god's son, by the way. Anyway, this, I'm not going to get into the story, but point here being, when he came here to the material world, he was given 16 years, and then he had to leave. So Arjun was crying and wailing, and Krishna says, "Okay, let me take you to, and show you basically what it means." And he goes, "Abhimanyu beta," and Abhimanyu says, "Which son are you talking about? In so many lives I've been your father, and you've been my son. In so many lives I've been your son and father. Which are you talking about, this body or the soul?" So that is the true relationship we have in this world. Soul has no relationship. We keep on getting recycled and getting labeled in different forms of relationships and nothing like. Anyways, coming back to success and failure, there are two sides of the coin. and they are dependent upon a lot of factors. And Lord Krishna is saying, I will give you. He knows that nobody can escape prarabdha. There are too many factors at play. It will be like kabhi khushi, kabhi gum, right? Kabhi dhoop, kabhi ghana saya, like you heard in movies. He knows it's going to be part and parcel of all of our lives. So what he's telling us is, rather than riding those emotions, you know, picking up your head when something goes bad and getting super excited when something goes good, and praying to God that, okay, only give me comfortable life and everything should be fine, you simply accept it. Equanimity is something that will bring you, that will draw God's grace, and it will bring you peace over time. And that is the practice we need to have. So next time something good happens, bring that knowledge. Hey, if I'm really getting excited about this, I'm actually preparing the grounds to get upset when things will not go right. So this is temporary. This is an imposter, and so is the failure, which is going to come in some form or manner in our lives, anyways. Right? So the key thing is the inner success. The Swamiji wrapped up this video with a beautiful message that inner success is the real treasure that goes along with us in our next life. Now, if you look at it from that standpoint, it just simplifies our whole life, right? If it just simplifies our whole life. If inner growth becomes the topmost priority of our life, then can you say there is a situation in my life which cannot be utilized for my inner growth? Can we claim that for any situation that we are subjected to in our life? We cannot. So dualities, as you see, even with this rose, Swamiji has given this example. It's a beautiful rose, as you can see, beautiful flower. It is a quotation in English: a rose is a rose is a rose. I think Christian Bernard Shaw had given that, because you cannot really articulate a rose, how beautiful it is, one of beautiful creations. And it also has an ugly thorn. That is how the world is designed. It is designed with dualities. Nothing is going to be a bed of roses for anybody. Nobody can come in this world and claim that, their life is all a bed of roses. That bag can vary for people, but this is how life is meant to be. Right? There's a story about a guy who tells God that, okay, my bag of misery is so much. Can you please take it away from me? And God said, all right, I'll take it away from you. Come 4 a.m. in the morning to the temple, nearest temple. Put your worries in the bag and bring it along. So he starts walking, and then he says his neighbor is also walking with the bag. And then a lot of people are, walking towards the temple. So apparently God had come to everybody who were complaining about their miseries in life and said, come to temple, I'll fix the issue for you. So everybody walked to the temple, and then God says, take a good look at each other's sacks that they are carrying. He turns off the light and said, okay, now pick up the sack that you want. Okay, let's do that deal. You pick up the ones that you think is less full of miseries than your miseries. And interestingly, everybody stayed with their own bag. At least they are aware of their problems. What if the other person has H1N1 or some variant of COVID, which is incurable? So they said it's better to stick around with our miseries only rather than going for something else. So now the question here is, if inner growth, like Swamiji says, is the key yardstick for success and something that goes along with us in our next life, material success remains here. No matter how powerful, famous, rich you become, does not count for anything. And if you are inwardly bankrupt, life is a failure. On the contrary, if you are outwardly failure and inwardly you have built a lot of treasures that God values, then has been a life which is worth it. So what appears externally and what is going on internally could be two different things. So having said that, this is how life is, right? You look at this, I came across this picture, found it pretty interesting. Now, this is how life comes basically. You'll have this road and then this road, kind of a deal. So today's discussion is, when we make inner growth our topmost priority in life, then failures become learnings. So any thoughts on that? Let's get that going. And I want to look at some of the examples where we can talk about it. We all have faced failures, reversals, and situations which have gone southwards, not northwards always. Now, those could actually be treated as learning opportunities. Now, going forward, if we are able to look at it that perspective, the purpose of this shloka from Lord Krishna is served. That is the real reflection that we need to do. So the problems, when they come, actually, there is a huge opportunity for inner growth. And if inner growth is the real treasure, then that mindset should be, okay, God, bring it on. What is the next lesson for me? I'm ready for it. That should be our mindset. Not that give me all the troubles that you have to give. Obviously, we have to take it as per our appetite, but that mindset of complaining about it should reduce over time. It's like, okay, you wanted to give me this lesson, you have some plan for me, and I'm willing to take it, and I'm willing to exert myself without complaining and trying to learn the lesson from this particular situation so that I can come out better and build those inner treasures that Lord Krishna is talking about. All right, with that, I'll open it up for audience if they want to chime in on what they heard, anything that resonated with them, or just the fact that inner growth should be the topmost priority in our life and rest should not matter at all. What do you think about that? Nothing should matter. Inner growth is the only thing. And if you think truly about it, you have laddus in both of your hands. There cannot be any situation in life, success or failure, where you cannot actually say that I cannot channelize it towards my inner growth. Failure has more depth. If you think about it, success has less depth. No depth, in fact. Success is a moment to be relished. Failure will teach you lessons. It will give you depth and perspective. I'll open up any hands who want to share something or talk about anything.
Before that, I had forgotten to make one more announcement. Can I do that?
Sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, so another thing is health camp, which will be held on Saturday. So whoever is in Dallas and can come to the temple and help us out with the health camp as a volunteer, that seva will also be great. So please, I guess you can put it up on the feedback tracker and inform if you would like to volunteer. And of course, you can come to the temple and make use of the health camp as well. And I'm also receiving messages in the chat thanks to people who have been agreed to volunteer for the online co-hosting. So you just put your name in on the Google sheet and we will get back to you. So don't worry about what needs to be done. That will be told to you. I guess that's it. And there is one question from Samji. Will there be people coming from higher planets like Abhimanyu in this age?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have a direct line to Krishna or Chitragupta to know that, but I think it's quite possible. It happens. It happens. A lot of people, they fall from celestial abodes, when they are not able to complete their yogic path. So those kind of things can happen for sure. When does it happen more than the other eras? I don't know about that, but at least Abhimanyu, it's mentioned in scriptures. It happened. So it can happen. I think the souls get transformed across Brahmands. Right now, we are in a four-headed Brahma's Brahmand. Maybe in one of the lives as humans, we could be transferred to a million-headed Brahma, right? Where science will be probably much more advanced. So these kind of things keep on happening. Don't have to think too much about it. So Samji, anything that helps us with our devotion? A lot of questions will get clarified in due course of time. Yeah. So that's how I would look at it. Yes, Jyoti ji wanted to.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe Jyoti ji.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji, Nitin ji, and everybody. To answer Sam ji, yes, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, verse 38 to 40, that in Kali Yuga there's going to be personalities that are going to appear in the southern part of India and by the Kaveri district, and especially Poonamalli area and all. And Alvar is a living example of somebody that came. So if you look up that particular thing, so Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, verse 38 to 40. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Jyoti ji. Beautiful. If you can provide the zip code also, then we all can plan to be there. But does it talk about the time as well? Sometime in Kali Yuga, I believe, right? Yeah. So I think these things do happen. So yeah, Samji, I think you got your answer from Jyoti ji, so that helps.
So it is it is in Kali Yuga that it's going to happen, and it specifically says that in Kali Yuga, this is the place, and by the riverside is where it's going to happen, and this is all captured in our scriptures.
Great, thank you. So, by the way, why we are humans doesn't mean we've always been human. In fact, Maharajji says we have been through all the yonis. That is, of course, the fact. But we have been even Indra, and gone to celestial abodes and possibly up to Brahmalok as well. All those possibilities are there. We have been Gandharvas. We have been in Swarglok. We have possibly become Indra. We have seen God. All things have happened because we have continued. We have been there since eternity, right? But still, we are rotating in this cycle because that Sharanagat Buddhi has not come as yet. We don't really believe in that knowledge, right? That is where the gap is. We hear, says, yeah, it makes sense, but then we don't go to that next step, right? Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita himself says that amongst millions or thousands of people, one person actually strives to know him, or starts walking on this path of spirituality. And then amongst those one people, thousands of such people, one he's using as a figure of speech, only one strives for perfection. And amongst those also who strive for perfection, rarely a soul gets to understand him completely. So spirituality is not a commonplace. Very few people get inspired on this path. And people who get inspired on this path, despite getting inspired, very few will truly strive for perfection, take it seriously. It takes multiple lifetimes to reach that stage. And then even after striving for perfection, very few actually get to know him. So a lot of factors have to converge. You need to get a guru, you need to keep the inspiration on, and then obviously you should need to be putting in the hard work yourself to say that. Other than that, our story of life is pretty much the same as Himani ji so beautifully pointed out. We all love Maya at different levels, basically. A little bit of taste that we get, we enjoy it, and we're happy here. So he said that and very beautifully the other day, but I was thinking deeply about it. I said it's a story of our life only. We all love Maya at different levels. So Krishna says, I'm in no hurry. I've seen you, but take your time. Okay, anybody else? Inner growth concept that we spoke about today. Wanted to add anything on that? So the discussion is inner growth. If we make the priority of our life, that's it. That is the most important thing and the only thing. Nothing else matters. Yes, sorry, Sanjay, you're saying something?
Yeah, I was just saying this, that I think I really like this, that Swamiji said that inner growth and true success means detachment. And I mean, I think if we start thinking about it more deeply, if we are detached from the material world, then we will really feel peaceful, and that is success, I guess, that way.
Yeah,
It's
detachment.
reiterating what I heard, but it kind of speaks to me, so I thought I'll
That
stress
you
on.
look at things in perspective. Like he's talking in terms of success and failure, where you look at it in perspective. You don't get hung up or intoxicated with the sense of success. And same thing happens when you're, oh my God, what happened? He's saying you just rise above that. That detachment he's talking about, where you just look at it in perspective. That this is a phase, and this too will pass. Nothing is permanent. Be equanimous, and that will draw my grace. And that is the only formula in life. Otherwise, look at people, they become so excited and so upset, and then that becomes a continuum of our life, one after another. Happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad continues. Insecurities, anxieties, stories, and that's about it. So
Yeah.
that becomes the game of our life. Sometimes we are anxious about our relations, sometimes we are anxious about our people around, and sometimes anxious about our kids, and then these kind of anxieties, they keep on building because we just want everything should be perfect, and our definition of perfect is what we think should happen is perfect. That is another illusion that we carry in our heads, right? Yes, couple of other hands are raised.
Swati ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Swati ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Like in the life, everything teaches us something or other thing. Even if we fail, I think we get experience. So there is nothing like we don't get anything from anything. Something or other thing we can learn from every act, and that way we can progress. I think failure also is one type of whatever you said. No, it's like a double coin, both the sides. So success and failure are the same coins, which we will keep on coming in our lives.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Edison, when he was trying to invent electric bulb, he failed for about 4,000 or 3,999 times, just a figure of speech for that matter. And somebody asked him, you failed so many times. He said, no, I've actually learned 4,000 different ways of how not to make an electric bulb. He actually learned it. He negated it. Okay, this is not how the bulb is made. This is not how the bulb. He finally was able to make it. So it really depends on how we look at that particular thing. Failure is not a failure unless you look at it as a progress in making, success in making, work in progress for the success itself. And then it's actually a way to reflect on ourselves and do that little upgrade that is needed after every experience that we have, right? Experience is something that becomes a little upgrade from inside. But that is the key thing, a key treasure for us. Yes, Pallavi ji?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Pallavi ji.
Radhe Radhe Pallavi ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji, and everyone. So great discussion going on, like always. In my life, I have experienced several such failures, reversals, many issues that I felt that when I look back, that was the key what gave me the inner strength. I would say that. And as you have said many times in the class also, that certain problems keep knocking at the door unless we face it and then we defeat it, and then we become strong, and then we are ready to face problem B, another problem, which is at different level. So this is how we overcome, and then we purify ourselves. And that is what gives us a lot of learnings, inner strength, resilience, and it brings us closer and closer to God. That is the only way that I experienced that it was really true. That was really true. And very recently, I would say that I keep reading, we all keep reading Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Nenam Chindanti Shastrani. But when I lost both my parents, I really got the meaning of it, really. I am not, I was able to comprehend better that, really, Nenam Chindanti Sastrani. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Very true. Yeah, Pallavi ji. Especially when you go through these kind of moments, right? These are called the crucible points or the inflection points of our life, which help take some of these concepts which are, kind of on the surface, go a little deeper, much deeper, in fact, because now
Yes.
you're contemplating on it, really taking it deep, that knowledge deep, right? Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
And I also wanted to share that I had very blessed weekend. I was able to share some of the photographs, very cherished moments and memories. Time spent with Swamiji under his divine grace. I feel that that energy will keep me going until I see him again physically. Though he is always in my mind, I'm able to connect with him all the time. But still, when I was he was in front of me, I was again dumbfounded, like not able to speak anything. The same thing happened to me again. And then finally he told me that, ask me, Pallavi, what you want to ask, really. Some crazy things start happening in front of me. But yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, sharing those pictures, beautiful pictures. I'm glad you were able to have some.
And I'm so happy that this time I was able to take my daughter along, and my husband also came along. So
very nice.
Yeah. Me and my daughter was also like, she played with Swamiji. They were jumping on the trampoline, and she was so amazed that, okay, Ma, Swamiji is so lovable, so divine. Like no words to speak.
Yeah, he's in the moment always. I see when he's with kids, he's with them. It's not like he has a baggage of 10 other things going on. No, he is in the moment with whoever he is, and that is why he's Swamiji, right? So I'm so glad you were able to meet him. But next time you go to him, write down your stuff that you want to ask in a paper, okay? Because when you go in front of him, you become blank anyway. So
yeah, but I think there's no question which is like, now I don't need any
good.
clarifications or questions. I think I'm all set from that perspective.
The knowledge has gotten
yeah.
revealed from within. I can see that, Pallavichi, no doubts whatsoever, right? So that's very nice.
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't have to. I feel like I don't need to ask anything to Swamiji. He understands what I want to ask somehow.
You know what?
Just,
Great thing you told that Ashutosh is saying same happens with me also. I think it happens with everyone.
Yeah.
So when Sri Maharaj Ji was there, he used to write letters. Those days, technology was not so advanced. Okay, so what he used to do, people would write him a letter, and then he would just take out, during his daytime, he had a routine to just look at the papers, the letters that have come, and respond back to those. So he would respond back to the questions that people have sent, and he would also respond back to the questions that they had in their heart and mind, but they could not articulate or write. A lot of people relate that experience. So that is the experience with him. I have experienced it multiple times with Swamiji as well. When I'm in front of him, what's going on? He just knows.
That was something surprising. Yeah, and I have now my own copy of Sri Bhagavad Gita, which is autobiography, which is like signed by Swamiji himself.
Wow, amazing.
By the way, there's another, that's very nice. There's another book, Power of Thoughts, that has come. Please do order if you haven't. It's a wonderful book, and if you love it, I can see Sandhya showing that. Do write a detailed, nice view with pictures and all on Amazon. Somebody may get inspired to that. So do provide your review as well. It will be nice. Okay, it's one of the best sellers. I think a lot of his books become bestsellers, but your review will go a long way in actually helping that out and creating a buzz around it. And it's a beautifully written book. And I'll bring in a lot of those concepts in our sessions as well. So I'm in the process of starting reading that book. So great. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. All right. Anybody else who wants to share something related to the session or otherwise? Inner growth. So we can put it in golden words in our bedrooms or wherever we want to put. Inner growth is the topmost priority in life. That's it. That one line has a very transformative power. If you simply keep that at the back of your mind, it simplifies our day-to-day life, and it simplifies even the situations that are not so favorable for us. Looking at those in perspective, it's one nugget, that Swamiji has given. I just love it. I spoke to him as well. He said, inner growth. What do you tell them? When you look at it, inner growth is their priority, then how can you say a situation is not helping me improve internally? There is absolutely no situation like that. You just have to confront your own inner demons and your own secret stash. That work, if you are willing to do, then everything to gain in life, nothing to lose whatsoever in whatever situation we are in. And so much to be grateful about, for that matter, right? Just because we have this ability, we can do this satsang, we've got a good mentor in life, and the fact that we feel inspired, it is such a huge blessing that, if you think deeply about it, these factors converging all in one life are very rare to happen. So we should just make the most of it. It's like hitting a jackpot in life. Okay, yes, Hetalji.
There was one more question as well. Samji has said that if it is possible and if any of the participants are comfortable in sharing the reverses that they faced and the inner growth that they had from those reversals. And
I think there'll be a lot of stories, I'm sure, that'll come out. I can tell you tons of mine. Okay.
And Asha ji is just, she has commented that I totally agree with you, Pallavi ji. I had the same experience. I think with respect to Swamiji, and
Do
I
a
think all of
gentle
us
meeting.
align with that experience.
Yep, it happens. You can feel that. And that is true. You don't experience it. Yes, Ashutoshi.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Ashutosh ji.
Radhe Radhe. Actually, yesterday only I received the book Power of Thoughts. And I like to share with talking about Maharaj Ji. So now whenever I listen Maharaj Ji's lecture, in between he used to say sometime after resting, that kind of word. I don't know what happening means when I hear that word from Maharaj Ji, means it totally means I don't know what kind of bliss that is, but I keep forgetting means I cannot express in words. Particular these words like in between, if you notice sometime, means those words means it will give in trance, you can say. That's what I would like to say. Means last 3-4 days happening. I don't know what to say about that, but why it is happening, that also I don't know.
आशुतोष आप पर विशेष कृपा हो गई है, ये कह सकते हैं.
लेकिन बहुत लेट हो गई. Means I used to stay with him from 14 kilometers from Mangar, but I never able to meet him after knowing him also. I don't know what to say about that.
No worries. So see, there was now the what do you call that? That is desire or the vyakulta. Now you have, maybe it's much more than you would have had otherwise. So that is the key. And you should feel happy about it. Okay, glass half full, not look at the half empty part of it. I mean, if I look at myself, I had opportunity to meet him. I did not, because I was too busy holding on to my unworthy things in life and enjoying that. Okay, so everything is happens at a. So I think we should focus on things that are working for us as opposed to what have been missed. But now we have an opportunity, great opportunity, right? And this is not an opportunity which will last one lifetime. This is a thing which, if you are mentally aligned to that, this is an association that goes on across lifetimes until you reach Krishna's abode. Okay, and he's going to personally hug you and welcome you in Golok. So just hang tight there. Okay.
Yeah. And Samji was talking about in your reversal, means the reversal only introduced me to JK Yoga, that I can say.
Who
right now?
Material reversals.
My material reversal only introduced me to JK Yoga. That's what I'm saying.
Krishna says, right, Jigyasu, Arto, Arti, and Gyani. So one is a pure curious guy. One is one who's had some material reversals. Dunya ke sataye hue, right? People usually think if somebody is becoming spiritual, there is something would have gone wrong in their life. That is the majority of the people, how they think. Okay, so yeah, that category is of course there. Then people who want material things, they go to temple that, okay, do this to my daughter, have this for my son. Can I please have this in life? That is the third category. And fourth are truly seekers who have actually started making progress because of their past sanskars. They are actually, naturally gravitating towards God and godly subjects. So that is the fourth category. So all four are there. Krishna is told about Chaturvidha. So yen kain prakaren, whatever gets your foot in the door, that is a grace of God. People, even after having material reversal, some people become Nastic. They say, no, there is no God. If there was God, nothing bad should have happened to me. That is the argument they give. So you have others end as well. The fact that you came to this path is actually a grace as well. It doesn't happen just like that. Our mind will not cooperate. Our feet will not cooperate. Our ears will not cooperate. You'll say, no, who's going to listen? Who goes there? The fact that you're here and it's gotten you interested and you got hooked onto Maha, it's a grace. It's a pure grace, nothing else. Yes, Hitalji, I saw your hand raised. Sorry about that, I think, but you're not allowed to put it down. I think you wanted to share something. Please go ahead. Yes, Hitalji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, Hitalji.
Radhe Radhe. I just stepped out and I'm in the grocery store right now, but I can speak. So yeah, definitely. What happening is, right, as a personal perspective, I would take it as too much expectation, right? And we define our success parameter ourselves. And that if we fail to, and then we just, we feel like, okay, we completely failed. But maybe that's not a true case. Because that parameter is defined by us. and somebody in maybe in some other perspective, it's perfectly fine. The only perspective we should take a look into it is, oh, it's not a failure. It's also a part of one's success, a bit closer to success. That's the take. And another thing I say, like always use the word introspective and retrospective. Those are the two keywords that define a lot of things. We should learn from ourselves, right? So many things. If we look into what we fail for, how we fail for, and we look back and trying to change it, it may be possible that we can make success.
It's a lot of disturbance, Hetalji. Not able to hear.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. Just walking down to the car right now.
But we got the gist of
Yeah, so that's pretty much. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. I don't know because of me.
Got it. Yeah, I think retrospection and part of it, and again, it's a state of mind, right? When we, it's a failure only when we think it is truly a failure as per our definition or as per the definition that our mind is attuned to think about it. People who are positive, they take everything as an opportunity to progress further, and that's about it. And then the yardsticks of success that we define for ourselves is the key. If we define those shallow things which world associates with success in life, right? Making a lot of money, getting a lot of fame, having a lot of power, enjoying life, going out for cruises, doing show off, coming across, projecting an image that you are not, so that people think highly about you. These are all wrong value-based systems born out of erroneous knowledge. If we correct those, then anyway, the santushti, the peace, the joy, the satisfaction, the contentment that is needed would start coming in, because now you're starting to align to higher principles, not the rudimentary mundane stuff. And that itself will start bringing in a lot of change, a lot of perspective in our day-to-day life. If you think truly about spirituality, it is something you have, it just frees you up from within. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose in this game, everything to gain, right? So it can become a celebration. Life can become a celebration in that case. What is happening, what is not happening, what is the big deal? You're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. And you have everything to gain, right? And the top prize is something like Swamiji says, he'll say when you will actually realize God, you will say it was worth the effort and the wait and the pain that you endured. It was worth it. Everything was worth it. And even pain is kind of a cause for, if we start putting it in perspective, it's again a choice that we make in our mind. If we fill ourselves with gratitude, there's absolutely no space for any negativity, complaints, or pessimism whatsoever. It's only when we start looking at it from the definition of success from world's point of view, right, that's when the problems start happening. If you go by scriptures, there is absolutely no reason for you to be disappointed about anything in life. Everything is to be so much to gain basically on this path. Wonderful. And this is the most, Swamiji says, I like that part. He said that this self-transformation is the most exciting project you will ever undertake. That is how exciting it is, where you can see your previous version with this version and the change and the freedom and the clarity and the peace that you're enjoying. These are not, they just make you more blissful, happy, and empower you a lot in life. So that is the beauty of this part. Good discussion. Anybody else who wanted to say something? I think we are over time, so please fill out the feedback tracker. Tomorrow we are going to continue on this discussion, and we will look at it through some physics of pendulum, okay, tomorrow. And I just want to reiterate, from Wednesday, the yoga gems will start around this time. It will continue for a week, and I'm taking a session on Monday, which is Tuesday IST. Last one I'll take. And then the sessions, Bhagavad Gita session, will resume again from Wednesday, not Tuesday. Tuesday is the last day closing ceremony, so I think there are not going to be any sessions that day. Samji has one final question, so yes, please go ahead, Samji.
Just one more thing. I think there was one comment from Hetalji that we have to be resilient.
Resilient at what?
Yeah, and I think Shamji had also raised hand, but he had put it down.
Samji.
Shamji.
Okay,
Sam.
there is Sam, there is Samji, and then there's Shamji. So all three are there. So let's hear out.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Samji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. Nitinji, I have nothing to share, but I'm feeling very sad that the attendance of this session is reaching only till 60, 61, 62.
That's perfectly okay, Samji. Why are you feeling sad?
I don't know.
No, that's okay. It keeps on fluctuating, right? It's like a Dallas weather. So some people, they are traveling and things can happen. So I think it's quality over quantity. If we have a group where we are actually, all attuned to this and actually striving to make a difference, that's what matters more. We should not worry or think too much about that. These numbers keep on fluctuating. Sometimes we go 100 plus also, right? During it's like an Alfonso mango seasons will come. Sometimes it fluctuates around 80, so that's okay. It can happen. We need to focus on what we are getting out of it and how best we can contribute towards each other's growth here. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and one more thing is, if I'm unable to focus on sadhana due to distractions, then how to deal with this?
So see, sometimes the sanskars would come where you don't feel so inspired, or your, some of the prarapt part of it as well, where the factors may not be so favorable for you. So we just have to keep trying, or go back to your journal, or go back to remind yourself what inspired you to begin with, and try double hard in those times, and it will come back again. The inspiration will come back. The factors will start supporting you as well. It's just a phase. Always keep it in mind. Nothing is permanent. This will also pass. But keep trying. Don't lose out. Don't lose the momentum to an extent where it becomes a full U-turn in life. If you can guard against that, I think that is good enough. Don't take a U-turn. That is important. Those times will come where you will not feel inspired. Life will take over. Maya will have its own distractions. So we need to keep fighting that. And those are some of the pitfalls that we have to keep an eye out for always on this path.
Okay.
It'll come back. It's a temporary phase, I would say. Keep trying. Don't stop the good things that you are doing. Try double hard.
Rahul ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Rahul.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, Maharaj ji always says that man lagana is sadhana and man lag jana is siddhi. So everybody is in that stage and we have to focus. Like we have to practice constantly and hopefully one day we will be there.
Beautiful. Very nicely summed up. Yeah. So right now what we are doing is called sadhan bhakti. Man lagana. We have to do the sadhana. Jujhna padega. We have to fight with our own mind. And there will come a stage where mind will start automatically flowing in that direction. And then you have to do the reverse, Samji. Okay, you will come and say, Nitinji, what do I do? It's Krishna playing in my head all the time. So, okay, how do I talk to my mother and my sister-in-law, whom I used to, think about so much? And then you'll have to take a step back. So that can happen as well. So, and you can make it happen in this life only. That should be our aspirational goal. Reach at least the Siddha Bhakti. Right now, what we are doing is just a preparatory phase. So at least we should strive to reach Siddha Bhakti in this life, if not God realization, I would say. It's a good goal to have.
Yeah. Shyamji, Radhe Radhe.
Shyamji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I just want to share my experience as Pallavi had shared her, so I can totally connect what she said when she meant when she said about her parents' loss. And I just want to say that God's timing is perfect. Because as I told you earlier also in my session that I had enjoyed success at an early age of my life, and then God was there to teach me a lesson that nothing is permanent in this life. Things come and go, you come and go. Just be with me and I'll take care of you for the rest of your lives, no matter where you are, how you are. So I guess God's timing is perfect. Initially, I was religious. I did not know the meaning of spirituality. But after all those failures, setbacks, reversals, whatever you call them, that's our dictionary giving them the words. But it's all God's way. It's God's grace, I would say that, rather than anything else. So it's just perfect timing. the way he showed me his grace in terms of material losses or whatever you can call it, and then everything is perfect in his realm. Nothing is there which is happens by chance.
True.
And as you always say that we are where we are, and I always used to say that I took a very long time to come to this place, but I guess that's the way it was always to be. Initially, if I had come there earlier on, I would not have learned the meaning or know the things as they would have been. But now, since I would say I'm mature enough, things do not matter to me nowadays much, whether it is materially or emotionally or physically. I guess that's the way it had to be, and it has to be, and it will be. I guess that's it. Radhe Radhe.
Beautiful, great reflections, yes, Shyamji, and I'm glad that you're able to appreciate that, how fortunate you have been, from that regards, and you've gone through some of the toughest phase of your life. I've seen that life is kind of coming a full circle for you, but at least you are able to see it in perspective, right? And then you are in Krishna Bhakti, which is very durlabh or a rare thing to happen. So that itself is a big deal that offsets pretty much all the reversals, I would say. On one hand, you have Krishna Bhakti, on other, whatever is, doesn't matter. You've already hit a jackpot from that sense. So pleasure to have you in these sessions, Shyamji, like always. All right. Are we good then for our closing prayers?
Yeah, Ashutosh ji had raised hand, but for some
Ashutosh ji,
reason.
last words, real quick.
Oh, now Payal ji.
Payal ji has raised hand for recitation.
There, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I think and I think Asha ji has sent a message saying that Nitinji, no words to express my gratitude for this beautiful and incredible session. So thanks to you and Sandhya ji and Pallavi ji and everyone.
Thank you so much, Asha ji. आपके हिंदी शब्दों का आज हमने अनुभव मिस कर दिया, तो बहुत अच्छा है. Thank you so much for that. It's a pleasure to have you, honor to have you in these sessions. So we can do our closing prayers for the day then.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Payal ji. Please do this.
Radhe Radhe.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much, Payal ji. All right. Thank you, everybody, for a wonderful session, and thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another engaging discussion that we're going to have. So Radhe Radhe, have a wonderful day, great rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Sandhya.